Hey everybody, we got a sweet little steelhead pattern for you today. Great winter run pattern, great summer run pattern, something you can use year round. It's called the Skeena Standard heavy jig. The dumbbell eyes on the front will kind of give it a little bit of a jigging action in the water. This fly's got a wicked profile, lots of color contrast, some flash in there, kind of everything that I look for in a fly when I'm steelhead fishing. It's also a tube fly. Something that we get asked quite a bit about here in the shop. I think people find tying on tubes to be a little bit of intimidating just because you're not tying on your standard traditional hook. But as you'll see, fairly simple, fairly straightforward, and very, very effective. So yeah, hang out, we'll tie a cool fly, and let us know how it does for you. All right, let's get tying. So first thing, I'm gonna take some Pro Sport Fisher plastic tube. This just happens to be blue, doesn't have to be blue, medium size. You know, any color that you like. Clear is really, really common. Color's not really the end of the world. Sometimes it adds a little bit of accent. For this fly, you're not gonna see too much of the tube. So first thing I like to do, see if we can focus in on there, is just flare the end of my tube, and that just helps the thread from slipping off, gives the junction tubing a little something to bite onto. And to do that, just take a standard lighter and just give it a little kiss with the flame there, and that'll flare the end of your tube. So I've got my HMH tube fly vise adapter. We're going to thread that guy on there. You can see it's tapered right at the very end there, and that's going to keep that sitting snugly in position. We'll slide that guy in, and I always like to butt the end of my tube up to the end of the adapter, and that just holds it in place. So just like any other fly, we're going to lay down a thread base. Again, this is the foundation for our fly. Don't be skimpy on the thread. It's what holds everything in place, keeps it from spinning. You're going to notice I'm going to start at the front of the fly. The reason why I'm doing this now is specifically for people that are new to tying tubes. I'm going to tie my eyes in right away, and that's just so that you can gauge your proportions on the fly. Again, if you're experienced with tying tubes, it's not really necessary. If it's something that's newer to you, then it'll just kind of help everything finish off at the end the way that you want it. So we're going to secure this with figure-8 wraps. I've got 6/0 red Uni-Thread, and for eyes, I'm just using some Hairline medium nickel dumbbell eyes. You can get as crazy as you want with different colors and things like that. We're going to keep it simple today. So lots of wraps. Keep those guys in place. Lay down our thread base. Now because those eyes are heavy, that's what's going to keel this pattern. Keep the bottom on the bottom, the top on the top. And I will say, if you cinch down really, really tight, this tube will collapse and you'll end up cutting it off your mandrel. I'm going to snug this guy up just a little bit more. And yeah, cutting them off your mandrel really, really sucks. That means you wasted all that effort. So just to keep this all in place, you can use super glue, you can use a UV cure. In this case, I'm just going to use a little bit of hard as hull just to keep everything locked in place there. Alright, so we got a good thread base. I'm going to leave a little bit of a tag there for your junction tubing. I personally don't use junction tubing when I'm rigging my tube flies. I prefer to use a non-slip loop, and that way I can adjust how far my hook's going to sit back. You don't want it to be too far back, otherwise you're going to tongue hook or gill hook fish on the hang down. Nobody likes that. So with a non-slip loop, the knot will just jam in the end of my tube and keep that hook or keep that tube from sliding up and down my line while I'm fishing. First thing we're going to do, take a little bit of Lagartun's French flat braid. That's a variegated blue. It's a nice color, not that you're going to see too much of it, but it's a good durable material. And if it does show through the material, nice little blue sparkle there. Tie that in. And just wind that forward. Trim that off flush. All right, from here, we're going to tie in just some black rabbit zonker. I've gone ahead and already kind of trimmed it to a point at the end. This helps give it a little bit of a natural taper. This is going to be our wing, and it's going to provide a lot of wiggle for this fly. Tie that in on the top, so dumbbell eyes on the bottom. Keep that fly swimming in the water the way that we want it. Everything built up on the top. Fasten that in nice and tight. From here, we're going to take our Nature Spirit Fish Hunter Marabou in purple. I'm going to tie it in by the tip. Now the tip of the stem here is quite thin, so we're going to go down about 1.5 inches where that's a little stronger. Tie that guy in there, right up next to that rabbit zonker. Again, make sure it's nice and secure. And then I'm going to fold the material back so that it's all going in one direction, and we're just going to palmer that around the tube. If you kind of stroke it as you go, it'll keep everything nice and neat. A wrap or two is all you need with this. We want to give the illusion of bulk without a super heavy overdressed fly. Fasten that down, and you can already see how that pattern's coming together. From here, some Hairline schlappen in Kingfisher Blue. We're going to be utilizing the fluffier part of this feather, so I'm going to tie it in really close to the butt here. We're going to cut off the tip, and that can be saved for another pattern. A couple of more wraps just to secure it. We've got the stem, same thing we did with the marabou, pull it back. Again, a wrap and a half, 2 wraps is going to be plenty. I'll give this fly a little bit of flash, a little bit of sparkle. We're going to use some sky blue standard Flashabou. And just tie that in over the top. From here, we're going to make a small dubbing loop. It's amazing what you can hide at the head of a fly with a little bit of dubbing, a little bit of chenille. In this case, we're going to use some STS trilobal dub in fluorescent shell pink. If I can get this dubbing loop apart, there we go. Throw some of that in there. If you pull the other materials away when you start your dubbing loop, you're not going to pinch them in there, or hopefully. Wrap that around at the head. Don't worry about crowding those eyes. Secure that thread. Nice head up at the front there. Take our handy dandy whip finish tool. Again, take a little bit of our hardest hull there. quick coat just to hold everything in place. From here, you don't need to do too much. Let's take my dubbing teaser a little bit, pick this out. You know, if there's too much, you can give it a little bit of a trim. Adjust the length of my flash so it doesn't extend past that rabbit strip too much. And there you have it. Nice simple tube fly, the Skeena Standard heavy jig. Great winter run fly, great summer run fly, very, very effective. Great color contrast, and that looks really ugly sitting right here. Here. There we go. Streamlines things a little bit. Yeah, lots of movement. Great profile in the water. A little bit of flash. Tie one on, give it a swing. Let us know how it works for you. Thanks for watching.